to do a couple problems with you guys first. All right. So here's the big thing with 45, 45, 90 triangles and 30, 60, 90 triangles. They are proportional in relationship to each other. So if you know one side, you can find all the missing sides without doing a mass amount of calculation. So I have written up on the board the two tables that I use, but some of the kids in second period started throwing a hissy fit because there were too many X's. So what we can do instead is change it to, so this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, and then I have side, and then the side times the square root of 2. All right. And if it's a 45, 45 triangle, it means both of my legs are the same size. The TV and have it work like math. So the reason I ask that is because if this leg right here is 9 root 5 over 5, what's y on it? This leg is 9 root 5 over 5. And it's a 45. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. Alright, so I'm given, because that's directly across from my little 45 degrees. Yes? So what do you notice about a change in going from side to side root 2? What did I do? What got slapped on there? Yeah, it's literally just multiplied onto the end. So if I have this to go from this side to this side, all I need to do is multiply it by square root of 2. Michael, do you want to move by everybody, or you're like, no, I'm okay. Alright. So this works kind of in the same way, because I've got 9 root 5 over 5. I've got to multiply it by square root of 2. And remember, it's square root of 2 over 1. Alright, so what's root 5 times root 2? Yeah. So I've got 9 over 5. Can I simplify that at all? We learned yesterday that if the mic's not centered on me, every time I turn my head the other way, you can't hear. Can I simplify that square root of 10? Nope. So I'm done. 9 square root of 10 over 5. And you'll stop showing like the mass amounts of work the further you get into it, but the first couple you definitely want to show it. Yes? Huh? There's 20 questions, but we'll get it done this class period. Alright, ready for number 2? So for number 2, I'm going to make my same table. 45, 90, side 2. Alright, so what number did they give me? Did they give me a 45 or a 90? They gave me a 90. It's directly across from my right angle. Okay, so that's how I know. If I wanted to be super nerdy, I could. I wore a hypotenuse and a hippopotamus shirt. I got this from my Reddit secret Santa. So they gave me the hypotenuse, which is directly across from my 90, so that means I put a 5 right here. So how would I go in the opposite direction of the one I just did? So in the last one, I multiplied by the square root of 2. What's the opposite of multiplying? Divide it. So I have 5 divided by square root of 2. Remember when I was a big fat jerk about all the radical stuff for 8.1a? This is why. All right. Is this legal? Having 5 divided by root 2? No. So what do I need to multiply by? Yep, top and bottom. Yep, over what? Yep. It would be the square root of 4, which is 2. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, I don't need to show those steps anymore because I know. Like I've done this so stinking much, I know. So that means 5 root 2 over 2 is both of these. Draw in 3 and 4. Try them on our own yet, or not quite? Okay. Still water wings, but not full, like life preserver. Got it. The table. So the table for me just helps me figure out, like it's still a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So I'm going to use the same table as I've been using. Nope. So for me, this is number one, a way to just like feed it into my brain so I remember 45 is my side, 90 is my side root 2. And then as I'm looking at this one, I would plug in what value I've got and use it to figure out what I need to do. So it's just kind of a way I've taught kids to do it so that they always remember it and then they don't get to the test and like, you don't remember the proportions. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jade? Okay. That's exactly it. You guys kind of like, how the crap did he do that? Mm-hmm. Yep. That's legit it. Like, last year, kids fought me tooth and nail on it. They're like, it's too hard, I don't want to do it. I'm like, dude, it's proportions. That's it. That's all you gotta do. I know it seems too easy. This chapter is normally people's saving grace because they're like, okay, got my butt kicked on this, and then we start this chapter and they're like, okay, it seems way too easy. I'm like, no, it's as easy as it is. Fairly, but not really. Like, you use the exact same setup as you go through and do it. So if you move to the left, you're dividing. If you move to the right, you're multiplying, and that's it. I know 4 got a little messy earlier today, just because they were like, oh, it's got a square root of 10, I don't know what to do. So 2 root 10, where does that fit? Under the 90? So remember, if I'm moving to the left, I have to divide. So I've got 2 square root of 10 over root 2. And what you can do on these, it's one of the properties of square roots, is you can write this as square root of 10 over 2. What's 10 of being? 2 root 5. You're looking at me like I don't believe you. So I showed second period this. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can sit here, we can do our multiplication. And I end up with 2 square root of 20 that cancels out. And they're like, all right, cool, it's just root 20. And I'm like, no, you can simplify square root of 20. Because square root of 20 is 2 root 5. I got to the same answer, I think that way is a little faster. So the back of this is the 30, 60. So I've got 30, 30, 60, 90. And this is my short side. And to figure out which side they gave you, there's always going to be a numbered angle measure in there. Okay? So, directly across from my 60, I have 3 root 3. So this is going to be, how am I going to move this one? Yeah, divided by what? Yes, just 3. Alright, and yeah, multiplied by 2, I get 6. Because 90 is 60. See how it's S, plain old S times root 3. Whatever you're given, you want to always get back to your current degree first. And that's my 5, and that's my S. And this is a Z. My Z and my 2's are normally like super screwy, where kids can't recognize them, but I try to keep 5. And if you guys don't like me writing side, like S for side, I can do the X again. It doesn't matter. That's kind of all there is to it. It's 3 is my short leg, and then 6 is my hypotenuse. Do you guys want to try number 12 on your own? Alright, want me to check it first? Yeah, we'll be good. So what do we think? Still liking this? Alright. Here's 13 and 14. Like, of the fraction, I just slap it on the top. Yep. Because on 13, what did I give you? The 30, the 60. So yeah, I would just slap a root 2 on the top. Now, take a peek at 14, because we don't necessarily have to do 14. Why can I get away with not doing 14? Look at 13 and 14. There's a similarity. Kaylin sees it. Yeah, it's the same problem. I just gave you different info. 7 over 2, 7 over 2, square root of 3. So yeah, that tends to be like, I could do that 3 times on a test, and kids would be like, I don't understand. Yeah, well, they don't notice it. Like, they wouldn't notice. If they don't notice it, then yeah, they're typically going to end up showing the work all 3 times. But if they notice it, I'm cool with it. Like, I don't know if I've told you guys the story of me actually, like, doing the quiz with a geometry class and then reading it up on the board. It was in Arizona, but it was a class of, how many kids did I have in it? I think that one was 36. My biggest class was 43. And I was like, okay, let's review before the quiz. I went over and was like, let's do some of these problems. Did them up across the whiteboard. And left them up while they took the exact same questions. Like, I didn't even change the numbers. That's how much of a jerk I was. I didn't even change the numbers. 2 of my kids realized it. Everybody else failed it. I'm like, well, that's just dumb. Like, you obviously weren't listening when I went over it. And then we did it, and I was like, okay, 0, 0, 0. I was like, by the way, here's the quiz. And I pointed to the board, and they're all like, oh my god. I'm like, dude, how are you going to get mad at me? I gave you the quiz. I left it up on the board. You weren't paying attention. Not my problem. So yeah, eventually you're going to get to the point where you're recognizing things. Alright? Especially if I give you either a hypotenuse or a short side, it makes your life a lot easier. So like, 15. I got my hypotenuse. What's my short side going to be? 10. What's my long leg going to be? I just make kids keep rewriting the tables so they remember, like, oh hey, this is what I need to do each time.